Hi, my name's Amanda, and today I'm going to talk to you about developing amazing online training through feedback. So you've worked really hard to put together an online learning portfolio. Believe you me, having worked with hundreds of providers over the last decade, we know exactly what it takes to put together an educational portfolio online. But the biggest mistake we see a lot of educators making is assuming that the first version they make, in terms of content, in terms of structure, in terms of the learner journey and the technical platforms they're using, is the best that it can be. And then they go on to create more and more courses. However, the most successful providers we see out there, and the ones that have really, really great sales of their online courses, are the ones that don't see the first version as fait accompli, and they take time to tweak it and shape it. So today I'm going to talk to you about a 3-step method that you can take in order to get the feedback you need and shape your learning accordingly. So the first step is making time to undertake KAIZEN. So setting aside some time in your diary for when you're going to do this. Now, KAIZEN is a Japanese word, and it stands or translates as continual improvement. And it was originally used in factories, whereby the management would ask the employees whether the processes they put into place were working and what small changes they could make could they then use to improve the productivity, the quality, or the education, or whatever process it was. How could it be improved overall? Because it assumed that people that were actually walking through the process were the ones that were giving the best feedback. And that's what you've got to do with your learners. You've got to find out from them which bits are relevant and which bits aren't so great. And take that time to make small iterative changes. So you need to diarise time in 3-month slots over the next year to 18 months for when you're going to make those changes. Now remember, when you're asking people for feedback, you've got to keep in mind that some people are going to be particularly apathetic. They're not going to give you the detail that you need. And some people are much more vocal than others and will give you their opinions. And you've got to sift through that in order to really take on board the true feedback that you're getting. So the next step is then considering that the first version you've created, or the version that you've got out there at the moment that's not been checked, is actually your beta version. So any successful technology company that you've seen, any successful platforms that are out there, they're always launched first as a beta version. And so what they're thinking is that this is a final draft. It's not quite perfect, it needs some tweaks, but they've got to test it with users first. And that's exactly what you've got to do. So once you've got a final draft of your online training, you need to get together a group of 5 to 10 people. You need to give it away to them free of charge in return for some feedback and some time to take part in a focus group. So what you do is you draw together a short questionnaire whereby you're going to ask them 3 questions and then talk to them about those questions on the phone and then pull them together into a group call. And the 3 questions that you need to ask are, if I create more courses in the future, what should I keep doing? What was really useful? What was really relevant? And what was a great part of the learning experience? And then the next question is, well, what should I stop doing? If I create more of these courses, what were the bits that weren't so great? And then the last question is, do you have any ideas for content? Do you have any ideas for improvement? And just listening to whatever ideas that they're coming through. And what you've really got to get to the bottom of when you group everybody together on this call in the group is finding out whether people would actually buy the product as it stands now without any changes at all. And really get that conversation going online and make sure you record it so you can listen back to it. So once you've held your focus group, then you take this feedback and you sift through what was fact and what was opinion. And you might get some quite negative feedback, which you've really got to take on the chin. And you've got to look through, as I said, what's fact and what's opinion, and then draw those facts together and make those changes that have been suggested. And there'll always be 1 or 2 changes. Then, once you've put together what you call your alpha version, you launch that, start selling it to customers, but have a questionnaire at the end of it. And it can't be any longer than 12 questions, otherwise you get something called questionnaire fatigue. And basically, within that, you're also inserting the Net Promoter Score. Now, the Net Promoter Score is basically asking people, how much would you recommend this product to other people? And it's scored from 0 to 10 on a scale. And basically, you take an average over time. So you might take it in blocks for every 15 people or 20 people that undertake it. And you group your responders as follows. So the first ones that score you 9 to 10, we call your promoters. They're the ones that are going to keep buying more products. They're going to refer others, and they're going to fuel growth to your company. They're your satisfied customers. The next group are the people that score you 7 to 8. They're your passives. So they're reasonably satisfied, but they're not enthusiastic, and they might be vulnerable to competitive offerings in the future. Then lastly, you've got your detractors. This is anybody that scores you 0 to 6. And they're going to be with the people that aren't satisfied at all, and they're not enthusiastic in any way, shape or form. And they actually might damage your reputation by providing unhelpful or really negative feedback. So you've got to make sure that over time, your Net Promoter Score is at least 8 to 9, and you need to keep it as high as possible. Within your questionnaire, you need to ask a mixture of multiple choice questions whereby people score you out of a certain scale, or they give you yes or no answers, and then also some qualitative questions where you have free-flowing text boxes so you can get some context overall. So that's a 3-step process. Number 1 is making time for KAIZEN. Number 2 is seeing the version as a beta version when you first launch it and setting up a focus group in order to give you feedback. And number 3 is, once you've launched the course, is making sure that you create your Net Promoter Score scale. Working with the CPD Standards Office, you can only not get your training accredited, but we'll also give you support and guidance on how you can capture this feedback. So give us a ring on 0203 745 6463 or visit cpdstandards.com, and we'd be delighted to help you and walk you through this. Thank you ever so much.